The following is information about telling time. Let's start by watching a video about telling time to the nearest minute.
How do you tell time to the nearest minute? Let's find out! The clock shows the time a train from Memphis is scheduled to arrive at Central Station. What time is the train scheduled to arrive? Write the time in digital form and in two other ways. Analog clocks are tools that can help you show and tell time to the nearest minute using minute and hour hands. Why is an analog clock a good tool for showing time to the nearest minute?
When thinking about that question, remember what you know about hour hand and minute hand. The hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. Just like if you were to write the word hour and write the word minute, hour would be shorter than minute. In this example, you can see the minute hand almost touches each of the numbers.
On an analog clock, the hour and minute hands point to precise locations on the clock face and help you visualize time. Digital form uses numbers and symbols to show and tell time. You can also write time using words and numbers. Step 1. The hour hand is between 12 and 1. The time is after 12 o'clock and before 1 o'clock. Step 2. In 5 minutes, the minute hand moves from one number to the next. Count by fives from the 12 to the 8. This is 40 minutes.
It's important to remember that when they're showing you counting, you want to be sure that you start on one number, but do not begin counting until you've actually moved. This would be true each time that you need to count. You are starting from one position, and you do not begin counting until you've actually moved.
Step 3. In 1 minute, the minute hand moves from one mark to the next. Count 2 more minutes. The digital time is 12:42. It is 42 minutes past 12, or 18 minutes to 1.
You may be looking at this asking, how do they know it's 18 minutes to 1? We could actually use the same counting strategy, but go backwards to where the minute hand is resting. So we would start at the number 12 and begin counting when we move. 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you can see here, it is actually 18 minutes before reaching the hour of 1.
When the time is 12:42, why is the hour hand closer to the 1 than to the 12 on the clock face?
What do you know is true about the hands as time moves on? Do the hands stay in one place until it gets to the new hour? Correct. They do not stay in one place. They actually slowly move throughout the day as time goes on.
There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Because 42 minutes is more than half, or 30 minutes of an hour, the hour hand will be between the 12 and the 1, but closer to the 1. In steps 2 and 3, what strategies can you use to correctly place the minute hand?
Think about the strategies that they've given you in this video to determine how you would place this minute hand correctly on the clock.
Count by fives from the 12 to the 8, and then count by ones to show 42 minutes after 12. Now you know how to tell time to the nearest minute.
Now we'll take the information that we've been given and we will look at it here and use those steps so you can tell time to the minute on each of these clocks. So using their strategy, look for our hour hand, which I will get my pen. And this is our hour hand right here. And you can see our hour hand is at 12. So we know that the hour will be 12. Now look at the next step, and it says, look at the minute hand and count by 5s, and then count by 1s if needed. So we start at our 12, and we count 5. So now we have to count each little minute. 6, 7, 8. So looking at this clock, we have the time 12:08, or 8 minutes after 12. Now let's use that same strategy looking at the next clock. We find our hour hand. In this case, the hour hand is between two different numbers. So it hasn't reached 9 o'clock yet, so it must still be 8 as an hour. Now use the strategies that they gave us for counting to determine our minutes. So we would go 5, 10, 15, 20, and then count on by 1s, 21, 22. So it appears that the time on this clock should be 8:22, or 22 minutes after 8. Now you try it. Here are 3 examples of clocks. What are the 2 ways that we could tell the time on this particular clock? Determine what your hour is. Remember, hour is the shorter hand. And then what are the minutes? Count by 5s. If you said 11:20 or 20 minutes after 11, you are correct. Now this clock already gives us the digital time. So now they want you to tell us how many minutes after an hour and then how many minutes before an hour. Good. So you can see it's definitely 39 minutes after 7. And then we would count backwards on that clock to figure out that it is 21 minutes before 8. Here is our last clock. Again, look for your hour hand. This one's a little bit more difficult to see. The hour hand is this short one right here. And again, it is in between the 8 and the 9, if that helps. And then you count your minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. It looks like it might be 8:44. Let's see if we're correct. It is 44 minutes after 8. Now let's practice going backwards. So we're going to start here and count backwards till we get to where that minute hand is sitting. Count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, and then we have one more, which would be our 16 minutes before it reaches the 9 o'clock hour. Finally, look at this helper clock and tell me what the digital time would be. If it is 30 minutes after 2, what should the time look like? Correct, 2:30. If it is 12 minutes before 7, so we know if it is before the hour, we know that it's not going to be 7 yet. It's still going to be 6 something. So let's count backwards 12 minutes. 5, 10, 11, 12. That would put us right there. And I know that this is 30 minutes. 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48. Let's see. It is 6:48. Here's a big one. 45 minutes before 8. There's that word before again. So we know if it says before an hour, we actually have to go backwards to the hour that it was. So we know right now it is 7 o'clock, and it's got 45 minutes before 8. So let's count backwards 45 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So what do we get if we count those minutes? 5, 10, 15. So the correct time would be 7:15. Now you know how to count by time to the minute